Because when we...
Let's really go. One more round, girls. Let the Boy Scouts hear you. One for your mother and two for your teachers and three for the pretty boys in a row. One for the money and two to get ready and three. Now you're ready and four to go. Let's go.
Today, the greatest women gymnasts compete for the all-around title at the World Cup Gymnastics Championships.
Really go. Let's go.
Hall, those who have already proven themselves in Olympic and World Championship competition will vie for the most coveted title in gymnastics, the all-around. Hello, I'm Donna DeVerona, and this is the most prestigious event leading up to the World Championships, which will take place in Indianapolis in September. ABC Sports will be there. The focus of this competition is individual performance, and to explain, our Olympic expert, gold medalist, Bart Connor.
Now, Donna, as you mentioned, this is an individual competition only, and typically in a team event, the team competes as a group, and the scores tend to build. The judges get caught up in the momentum.
Be her teammate, Tatana Lysenko, and the Chinese, who I feel are the closest to the Soviets at this point, if they can stay consistent. The Romanians, who have been hit hardest by the political changes in their country, seem to be putting at least some of the pieces back together because they fielded two of their strongest gymnasts here.
And how about the Americans?
The Americans, Brandy Johnson and Sandy Woolsey, who finished 7th and 8th at the last World Championships, are really very well liked by the international judges here. They have had some troubles in the past competitions and with injuries, but the slate is clean now. All they have is the reputation they've earned at the World Championships.
The women's all-around will be contested on 4 apparatus: the vault, the uneven bars, the balance beam, and the floor. After the first rotation, 1988 Olympic gold medalist in this event, the vault, Svetlana Boginskaya, whose future participation in this sport could well depend on her performance here, is in a tie. And that's with Hungary's leading gymnast, 16-year-old Henrietta Anodi. Anodi has begun this competition in a confident way by performing a lifetime best in the vault to put her in a tie with the sentimental favorite, Boginskaya. So the standings after the first rotation are, in a tie for first, Svetlana Boginskaya and Henrietta Anodi. In third, Spain's Eva Rueda. In fourth, and look for her to move up, Tatiana Lysenko. And in eighth, Brandy Johnson. Coming up, Boginskaya on the uneven bars, but first some insight from one who's given her life to gymnastics.
I love gymnastics very much, and I don't know how I would live without it. I don't know how I would exist without gymnastics, because it means so much to me.
She has won Olympic gold and the world and European all-around titles, but there are thoughts of retirement. We ask what you would miss most.
I guess it's the feeling of the podium. When I step on this competition floor, I get a feeling I could never experience anywhere else.
And now Boginskaya on the apparatus she fell on in the Goodwill Games, which cost her the title.
Svetlana does 2 release moves in this routine, which is more than adequate at this level. The first is a reverse hecht, done very nicely. She sets up for her second release move, nice high ginger. Little trouble on that transition down to the low bar, not quite the amplitude she usually has. Watch this. This is a beautiful stylization, nice split on top of the high bar. Dismount, a double pike dismount. Oh, low on the landing and a step forward. That will be the deduction in this routine.
Bart, let's take a look at that again.
What's so terrific about Boginskaya is her style. This toe-on, toe-off is a fairly common move, but the way she does it with that full split really shows off her elegant lines. Now, she slung out the dismount a little bit, and because of that, she was shorter rotation.
Yes, and traveling on that dismount did cost her score a 9.825. Up next, America's favorite, Brandy Johnson. She's also had trouble in the past on the unevens and just recently developed a new routine.
This should be very exciting for Brandy. As you just said, this is a new routine for her. She's added a new element, a new combination you'll see right at the beginning of the routine. Giant swing to half pirouette. Now watch this front giant right into her reverse hecht. Beautiful height. She's moving very smoothly. This also has been a weak event for Brandy at times, but this is dynamite so far. And a tuck double back dismount, perfect landing.
This is the new move that Kathy was talking about. It's a front giant, and she does a pirouette at the top and then continues through her release move. Excellent height and perfect form. Coming up here is a transition, a straddle back to the low bar. The judges require the gymnast to work both bars, and that transition was smoothly done.
And it's a solid, fluid routine for Brandy Johnson, a satisfying moment for her, and her score, a 9.850. Coming up, event co-leader Henrietta Anodi on the uneven bars. Anodi, only 16 years old, she's 4 feet 9 inches tall and weighs about 66 pounds, and no doubt is perfectly proportioned for this sport. The walls of Henrietta Anodi's bedroom are covered with the faces of the stars she adores, and at such a young age, she too has become a star. Fan mail has arrived from around the world, with many wondering what she's like away from gymnastics.
I don't know. You'll have to come to my home and see for yourself.
Home is Beki Saba, a city of 70,000, about 100 miles from Budapest. It's called the Storm Corner of Hungary because of its tradition of opposition, and its people have once again raised their voices, this time to herald the arrival of a new star. Henrietta started gymnastics at the age of 5, but in the early years she was set apart not by her ability, but rather by her size. At the age of 9, her potential was spotted by her current coaches. They have been inseparable ever since, and she has become more of a daughter than a pupil. Together, she has become the greatest female gymnast Hungary has known in Anodi's lifetime. Every aspect of Henrietta's life is orchestrated so she can reach her potential as a gymnast. While others do their exercising at school, she receives special tutoring in a class of 2 to maximize the limited time set aside for her studies. Her curriculum, math, economics, and English.
No, I don't feel that I'm a special person at all. All these things were arranged this way to harmonize training with all the other everyday activities.
The true harmony in Henrietta's life can be found at home, where she lives with her father, Janos, and her mother, Katalin. While many gymnasts in the Soviet Union or the United States leave home to reach their potential, she's been fortunate to find the perfect training environment at home, an advantage that ultimately may be the reason for her success. Anodi may be one of Hungary's most decorated athletes, but in many respects, she's like an average 16-year-old living at home and attending school. And in at least one way, she's even like an average 16-year-old American.
My favorite group in New Kids on the Block.
And now Henrietta Anodi, the co-leader, up for one of her best events.
She really is a very impressive gymnast. She has a greater variation of difficult skills than most of the gymnasts here, and unique transitions. Watch this mount. Free hip right to a full pirouette. And this is an example of the unique transition I was talking about. A little hop, full turn right to the high bar. There was her first release move. Not as high as it should be. And her second is a Jaeger front. Again, the amplitude or the height from the bar is not quite as big as some of the other gymnasts. Here's where she really excels. Front giant, right to a back giant, full pirouette, nice form. Tuctable back dismount, good landing.
She'll need a 9.837 to take the lead.
Although the release moves aren't terribly high, the best part of her routine comes right here. Pirouette from the front giant. Here comes a full pirouette on top from the back giant. Those will gain her a terrific amount of bonus points.
And you can see why she was third in the all-around at the Goodwill Games. Anodi scored 9.875. She's the current leader. But this is one to watch over on the balance beam. A bright spot on the Soviet team, Tatiana Lysenko.
She does one of the most difficult mounts on the balance beam. A round off on the board into 3 layout somersaults. 1, 2, little off on that second one, so she opted not to do the third. Still extremely difficult. Beautiful leap, showing the amplitude, showing the full split in the air. Back handspring for 2 layout step outs. Very nicely done. Judges are looking for the difficult tumbling passes. The one she just performed is an aerial walkover, slight balance break there. That was one of the special requirements on the balance beam, combining acrobatic elements with dance. Back tuck, kick out, right to a straddle down.
Her technique is so precise.
Full turn, also another requirement on the balance beam. She's preparing for the dismount. Competition very close. She's looking for a stuck landing. Double back. Very nicely done. As in most world competitions, the scores are so close that every half a tenth of a point and every tenth of a point counts. So they go for those stuck landings. Right here, she does her mount. 2 layout step outs. You can see she's a little off. Of course, that will be a slight deduction.
Notable composure for a 15-year-old, Lysenko earns a 9.887, which places her in second. Henrietta Anotti holds on to the lead, but noticeably absent the Romanians, hardest hit by the changes in Eastern Europe. We'll be back with China's Yang Bo on the beam. Champion, Yang Bo is an only child and has trained away from home since she was 6.
And this is the way balance beam should be done. The Chinese are exquisite on this event. They show perfection in movement. Everything is picture perfect. One arm back handspring to layout step out. Full twisting, back handspring, swing down. That is amazing. Aerial front walkover to a scale, right into a walkover. They have beautiful choreography and choice of movement.
And posture.
Now that right there would pass most people's eye, but it is extremely difficult. She does a leap and looks back and arches. Two layout step outs. This is one of the best beam routines I've ever seen done so far by anyone.
Remember last year at the World Championships in the finals, the routine was going just like this. She had trouble on the dismount.
Here it comes. Round off, double back. Perfect. If I were a judge, I honestly, at this, I would give it 10. I saw absolutely no deduction whatsoever. It was one of the most beautifully choreographed routines ever done.
Now, although this move coming up is called a Rokova, Soviet Yelena Shushinova really popularized it by performing it in the '88 Olympics. Here it comes. Full twisting back straddle down. And no one does it better than Yang Bo. I guess Bo knows beam.
And the judges don't know diddly if they don't give it a 10.
Her score, a 9.987.
I can't imagine what deduction they found.
But it is the highest score of the competition so far and is good enough for the lead. She does make you marvel, though, about the things they're able to do.
Have you ever wondered how a cat always lands on its feet? Likewise, haven't you ever asked about a gymnast? How do they do that? Gymnasts have an uncanny ability to launch themselves into the air and do amazing twists and turns and somersaults and always come back to the beam or the bar or to a perfect landing. This ability is called air awareness or kinesthetic sense. And although you can refine it, it's usually something a gymnast is just born with. You either have it or you don't. Most amazing is when a gymnast performs skills in rapid succession with seemingly blind takeoffs and landings. Twists, too many for most to even count. High-flying dismounts, and yet able to find the ground. Perfect precision when the margin for error is almost nil. Yes, it's something you're born with. These athletes have it, and they've taken it to amazing heights.
The event leader before Yang Bo's beam routine was Henrietta Anotti. Let's see if she can gain back the lead.
And just like on the uneven bars, Henrietta really has a nice variety of skills and also some unique combinations. This is a wonderful pass coming up. At the end, she does an Arabian walkover, very original. Right there. Beautifully done. Such a difficult landing.
And Kathy, it's so difficult to keep your body square down the length of the beam on a twisting move like that.
2 layout step-ups, little off on that second one. Slight deduction there. That could very well cost her first or second place. Back roll extension right to the end of the balance beam. She definitely takes a lot of risks in this routine.
To take the lead, Anodi needs a 9.925.
We've pointed out how close these competitions are. Every half a tenth of a point is very critical to an all-around score. Keep in mind she has that one balance break so far. Here's the dismount. She does a round-off triple twist. Very difficult dismount, but a large step on the landing. Again, that will be another deduction.
And Kathy, those 2 slight balance breaks in this unforgiving sport may have cost her the lead she's maintained through 2 rotations. We'll see when we come back. And the beam is not good enough to keep her in first. Yang Bo of China has the lead, but Anodi has other concerns as well, as Soviet rising star Tatiana Lysenko, who's ready for the floor exercise, has been coming on strong.
And this is one aggressive and confident young gymnast. And she can tumble with the best of them. Tumbling run is obviously becoming more and more popular, tumbling in both directions, but it's still very exciting. Double back, punch front somersault. She tumbles back in the other direction, right into a full twist to another punch somersault. Now this really shows her level of competition. She finishes her routine with a very difficult tumbling pass, full twisting double back. Very well done. A lot of difficult tumbling skills in that routine.
And we'll see if that's good enough for a 9.975, which she would need to move into the lead.
And that's really a big score to expect from her right now.
Now, this is just another example of how incredibly strong these 70-pound young ladies are. Imagine the strain on the Achilles tendon and the ankles when they reverse the direction from this rebound here, from back tumbling to forward tumbling.
Lysenko earns a 9.9, which isn't strong enough for the top spot.
Round competition, and American Brandy Johnson was in 5th place. Let's return to Donna De Verona, Bart Connor, and Kathy Johnson.
Welcome back to Brussels, Belgium for the World Cup Gymnastics Championships. An historic and scenic host city, who needs to travel to Venice, Italy for a canal ride when the city of Bruges is nearby? Today, the women's all-around champion will be decided, and with just thousandths of a point separating the field, China's Yang Bo has taken the lead. In a tie for second are Hungary's Henrietta Anodi and Soviet rising star Tatiana Lysenko. In 4th is veteran Svetlana Boginskaya, and in 5th is America's Brandy Johnson. Earlier in rotation 3, China's Yang Bo set an extraordinary standard, earning the highest score of the competition, and a 9.987 moved her from 3rd to 1st. Henrietta Anodi, who led for 2 rotations, is in a tie for 2nd place with hard-charging Soviet star Tatiana Lysenko, whose best event is yet to come. For the reigning world champion, Svetlana Boginskaya, the pressure is on. Right now, she's in 4th place. And for the Americans, a revitalized Brandy Johnson's new routines have helped her to a respectable standing. She's in 5th. But Sandy Woolsey's problems early on in this sport of perfection have dropped her well out of contention. This is it, the final rotation in the all-around. And for the leader, Yang Bo, it's a time to focus and not let the pressure get to her.
I think this could be a tough event for her to try and maintain her lead on. It's not her best routine, and in fact, at 4'11", she's grown 5 inches since the last World Championship. Makes the tumbling a little bit more difficult. The full twisting double back, and although it looks great, thus we can tell she's a little more sluggish.
Kathy, it seems funny that she's grown 5 inches, and she's still not even 5 feet tall yet.
Well, Bart, the size isn't the problem. It's the adjustment that she's had to make that makes things a little more difficult. 1.5 twists, through to a double twist, a little trouble with the transition. But again, she's making that adjustment fine. She's just working a little bit harder.
Kathy, do you like the music and choreography?
I actually think she could have better music and better choreography because I think she's a better gymnast than this shows. This is your last pass. She's planned a double back somersault, looking for a good landing. And just pulls it around. A very nice, solid routine for her, but I think she's going to have trouble keeping the lead because I just don't think it's up to the standard as some of the best on this event.
And although she's still a brilliant gymnast, you'll see she's really working hard in this double back and barely pulls it around.
You know, Bart, this Western-themed music just might work in Indianapolis this year where the World Championships are, but it needs some work.
Yang Bo's score is a 9.787. Sluggish or not, she did stick all her landings. Hungary's Henrietta Anodi needs a 9.850 and a nearly perfect routine. Yang Bo has left the door open, but still to come, Lysenko and Boginskaya.
Donna, she could certainly score a 9.85 with this routine. She does 3 of the most difficult tumbling runs in the competition. Watch this opening pass. She does a whip back and then tumbles through to a full twisting double back in piked position. Very difficult. I'm amazed at the ease in which she does these tumbling runs.
And her power is really deceptive. She's only 66 pounds, but she's very strong.
This is a gorgeous triple twist. She gets it around. Perfect. That's about the best I've ever seen her do that.
In contrast to Yang Bo's routine, this music is very effective.
It's her third pass. Double twist to a punch front, tumbles back the other direction to an Arabian front walkover. Now talk about endurance. She does a 4th tumbling pass. And ends with a pike double back, a perfect landing. Great routine. She has really competed so well in this competition.
And remember, she needs a 9.850 to take the lead.
And once again, her power and technique and form is so strong. This is her last pass, a double back in the pike position, and a terrific landing.
And she does it. Her score of 9.900 puts her ahead of China's Yang Bo. Question now is, will it be good enough to hold off the Soviets?
Regardless of where she ends up in the standings, she has certainly made an impression here.
And this is Tatiana Lysenko. She's just 15. And if she can deal with this kind of pressure, watch out. She'll need a 9.912 to take the lead from Anodi.
This is her second of 2 vaults. Of course, the gymnast performed 2. The best score counts. She had a 9.875 on the first vault, so the pressure is on. Yurchenko with a full twist. Unbelievable. That was beautiful. So much power in that vault. Good height, good distance, and of course, the all-important landing.
Henrietta a little nervous.
She is so powerful when she reaches back to the horse. She does a round off onto the board, and right there, she gets a tremendous lift off the horse. Great landing.
And there you have it, a 9.925 places Lysenko in the lead, and Anodi slips into second. But still to come, the reigning world champion Svetlana Boginskaya in what promises to be a dramatic floor exercise program, and American Brandy Johnson. All-around champion, a classic gymnastics story is unfolding. It's a Soviet tale, too. As a reigning world champion, Svetlana Boginskaya knows she must give a nearly perfect performance to hold off her younger, smaller, aggressive teammate, Tatiana Lysenko, who's in the lead. And this could be the test of her will to stay in the sport. She must earn a 9.962 to win.
And I'm really looking forward to this routine. It's a new routine. And like her last one, it's very theatrical, very dramatic. One of the tallest competitors, she also has great tumbling ability, full twisting, double back, and pike position. Easily done. What's nice is the routine has a theme. It has a feeling throughout the entire routine. Beautiful extension on the leaps, the kick. Combination pass, full and a half twist, through to a double twist, right into a punch front somersault. That's a harder pass for a taller gymnast. Beautifully executed routine. Some of the routines may have been more difficult, but few as expressive and unique.
And remember, she must score a 9.962 to take over the lead.
And although her choreography is very dramatic and mature, she's beefed up the difficulty in this routine to keep up with the little hot shots. Right here, she adds a punch front after the double full. Nicely done.
As you can see, this is a gymnast who really performs with her heart and soul. So I think this is a very emotional time for her. An idol to her young Soviet teammates, she's now competing against them for a spot on their World Championship team, a team that's very difficult to make. This could be her last competition. Let's just hope not.
Let's wait for the score. It's a 9.937 and not good enough to earn her the overall title. So she takes second to her up-and-coming teammate, Tatiana Lysenko. Still to come, Brandy Johnson. And for American Brandy Johnson, it's a last chance to move up in the standings. And this has been a gratifying competition for her so far.
This is a great event for Brandy to end on. She's very dynamic, very entertaining. As you can see, she's very explosive, both in the tumbling and in all these leaps and jumps. This is a new addition to her routine. She does a full twisting double back in the middle pass.
In contrast to the style of Svetlana Boginskaya, whose routine was choreographed by a Soviet ballet star, Brandy's routine was choreographed by an aerobics champion.
Music choice and choreography is very well suited for Brandy. This has been an excellent competition for Brandy. This past year has been very difficult with injury and illness and at times inconsistent in competition. But that's all behind her now. Finishes with a tuck double back. Whoa, just steps on that line, but not over. No deduction. Very nice job. She's got to be proud of herself. And to do it in front of the whole world.
Brandy really flies in this double back dismount. Notice her arm lift right there gives her tremendous height and rotation. A little too much. Fortunately, she didn't go out of bounds.
So Brandy Johnson, in a comeback effort, scores a 9.850 to hold on to 5th place. And once again, the Soviets dominate women's gymnastics, taking the top 2 spots. And emerging star Tatiana Lysenko confirms her ability by capturing the all-around in a win over her teammate Svetlana Boginskaya. This event had it all, the young challenging the old veteran, and it all came down to the last event with only 13 one-thousandths of a point separating them. For Boginskaya, it may well be a last performance. For Hungary's Henrietta Anodi, it was a chance to win a medal in the big time. For America's Brandy Johnson, it was a great comeback. For China's Zhang Bo, excellence on the beam. And for the Soviet Union, confirmation that they are still the best. I'm Donna De Verona. For Kathy Johnson and Bart Connor, goodbye from Brussels, Belgium.
A few moments ago, you watched Brandy Johnson with a terrific performance in the women's all-around competition of the World Cup Gymnastics Championships. But since that event was taped in Brussels in last October, Brandy, one of the only 4 American women to ever win a medal in the World Championships, announced that she was retiring from competition. And she joins me now here in Tampa, not far from her hometown of Altamont Springs, Florida. And Brandy, first of all, at 17 years old, announcing your retirement, why?
Why? A couple injuries. I have a hip problem recently. And I'm ready to retire. I've reached all my goals in gymnastics. I made it to the Olympics, and I am known as an international gymnast, and those were my 2 goals when I was young.
Okay, but the professional gymnastics that will become a happening, actually, I think May 11th, will you be competing, or are you going to try and compete in that?
Yes, I am. I'm going to try to compete if my hip will allow me, but I definitely want to start competing professionally.
And what is the status now of the hip? I know you had the ankle injury, you had the kidney stone problem, but the hip is the real problem now?
Yeah, it's just going to take a lot of time. They say 6 to 9 months to heal. They're not really sure what's causing all the problems, but it just said time off would probably help it the most.
Say that it does work out and you can return to competition, and of course one of the familiar names in American gymnastics. How long would you like to continue to compete at the professional level?
As long as I possibly can. I enjoy competing, and the gymnastics has been such a big part of my life. I would kind of feel void without it, but as long as I could possibly stand it.
Anything that you might have missed in your career thus far?
I don't think so. I don't think I've missed anything.
And as you look forward to one other date, February the 14th?
Yes, 93 I will.
Represented in the team competition here in St. Petersburg.
The World Cup Gymnastics Championships. Hello, I'm Donna De Verona, and only the best from the strongest countries in gymnastics have been invited here, and those that have been chosen feel it's a special privilege. Joining us, Olympic gold medalist Bart Connor.
Donna, the great thing about the event finals competition is that it's quite a bit different from the all-around and the team competitions, where consistency is the big factor. The key today is difficulty. The judges require all the gymnasts to do a higher level of difficulty in the event finals. The gymnast who wins is the gymnast who goes for the big tricks, but they got to make them.
And, you know, the Soviets have dominated the all-around in international competition, so this is the best opportunity for other countries to pick up medals. Here to discuss the individual event finals, Olympic medalist Kathy Johnson.
What's really exciting here is either of the 2 Soviet gymnasts, Tatiana Lysenko or the reigning world champion Svetlana Boginskaya, could feasibly win all 4 event finals. Boginskaya did that not too long ago at the European Championships. And of course, there's Henrietta Anodi of Hungary, who has qualified in all 4 event finals and should have a shot at some medals.
And for Brandy Johnson, this is a great opportunity. In a comeback effort, she's made 3 individual finals.
Ironically, Brandy did not qualify in her best event, the vault, in which she won a silver medal at the World Championships in Stuttgart, and who I feel really had a shot at the gold here at this competition. But she's upgraded her difficulty. She has a great draw in balance beam and the uneven bars, so hopefully she'll be able to keep up with the field here.
The women will compete on 4 apparatus: the vault, the uneven bars, the balance beam, and the floor exercise. Competition on the unevens is about to get underway, but Kathy, there was a big surprise on the vault.
Yes, Donna, that possible Soviet sweep I spoke of came to an abrupt halt when the gymnast from Hungary, Henrietta Anodi, took the gold on what has typically been her weakest event. She came up with 2 superb vaults and averaged 9.937 and took the gold. I really like this routine. It has a nice variety of skills and combinations. And even even unique moves, like this one coming up right here. It's very easy, but a nice little hop, full turn right to the high bar. Her first release move, it's called a ginger, with ample height. Not quite as high as some of the other gymnasts do on their release moves. This is really the best part of her routine coming up here. Front giant swing. A full pirouette on the high bar, right to a dismount, tuck double back. Excellent routine.
Although Onodi is really quite well known for her pirouettes and her transitions on the uneven bars, like this move here, she has improved a great deal in her release move category. The judges require the gymnast's shoulders right there to be as high as the bar when they regrasp. You'll notice here on the second release move, she just barely accommodates what the judges are looking for.
A solid routine, her score a 9.9, and you can see why she was third in the all-around earlier. But that score does leave the door open for the world, Olympic, and European champion from the Soviet Union, Svetlana Boginskaya, who earlier lost to her younger teammate, Tatiana Lysenko, by just 13 one-thousandths of a point in the all-around.
And right here is really the only mistake she had in the all-around competition, a big step on the dismount.
And this was a difficult moment for Svetlana, who's been so dominant. And it was a sign that her younger, eager teammates are poised to take her place. Retirement is certainly on her mind.
Of course, I'm thinking about it. I still want to train, but it becomes more difficult. So at this point, I'm undecided.
And now up for the uneven, Svetlana Boginskaya. Kathy, it's got to be difficult to compete with uneven. Svetlana Boginskaya. Kathy, it's got to be difficult to compete with any doubt in your mind.
And unfortunately, Svetlana had a very negative experience at the Goodwill Games last summer, where she actually fell from this event, and not only cost her the all-around, but dropped her quite a bit. It was on that skill that she fell. There's her second release move. Nice work. What's most impressive about her is her impeccable form. Beautiful positions. Here's that dismount, pike double back. It's where she had trouble, and it looks like she had under-rotated it during the all-around competition, and she was making sure she wasn't going to under-rotate again, so she pulled it a little too far around and took a slight step back.
What's so impressive about her is the long swings and the long lines. And at 5'4", she's nearly a foot taller than many of her competitors. On the dismount, she's a little over-rotated and takes that shuffle step to try not to give away a major deduction.
And the score to beat is a 9.9. Her score, a 9.887, currently puts her in second place.
Frank Gifford once again from New York.
Brandy Johnson. And Kathy, this will be a new routine for Brandy.
It's very impressive that she has added new skills to her routine, because most athletes in this situation would try and play it safe and just do what they could do and do it well. She has a new combination within the routine. It's very exciting. It's right here, giant swing to a half pirouette, front giant, right into her release move, a reverse hecht. Now she's trained a giant with a full twist for the end, right there, before the dismount. A tuck double back dismount. Great routine for Brandy. It's an event that has caused her troubles in the past, but not only was this a good routine for her, but a new one at that.
A gutsy move for Brandy Johnson.
On top of the new sequence early in the routine, Brandy even added this full turn here before the double back dismount, and she really snaps this double back. Very high, very well rotated.
Brandy score a 9.862, which puts her in fifth place. Kathy, a little low?
Well, she had some slight form deductions throughout the routine, and some of the other gymnasts are performing two release moves and more difficult dismount.
And this is Tatiana Lysenko. She's the current reigning World Cup all-around champion.
And she has all the necessities to win this event. Two big release moves. There was her first one. Second one even higher than the first release move. And most importantly, she has a very difficult dismount coming up right here. Double front with a half twist. Incredible. Such a difficult dismount. She does it so easily.
Remember, the score to beat is 9.912.
There's only a few people in the world that can actually do this dismount from a front giant. She's going to do 2 flips and a half twist. It's a lot of stuff to get done before the ground comes around.
And Tatiana Lysenko's score of 9.937 gives her first place on the unevens, and she becomes the first Soviet gymnast to win an individual event final. So Lysenko wins gold. Romania captures its first medal of the competition, and Brandy Johnson finishes 6th. We'll return later with more from the World Cup Gymnastics.
World was set afire in 1976 by an unknown 13-year-old Romanian girl. 8 years later, it was an American who captured everyone's heart. It's no coincidence that both Olympic champions were coached by the same man, whose 6-hour daily training sessions are preparing a new group of gymnasts for international success. His coaching philosophy includes a unique approach to cross-training.
Psychologically, these athletes who are spending so many times and so many hours a day, year long, into the gymnasium, they need the variety. They need a new ingredient. The outdoor preparation is very specific to the overall instruction and preparation. This is specifically designed in order to improve the general endurance, agility.
By maintaining conditioning and improving mental attitude.
Only crowd in Santiago de Cuba with a 10.
Come through in competition. They are superb on this event, but in the past have faltered under pressure.
Now we're ready for the final event, the floor exercise. And this is the current World Cup champion, Tatiana Lysenko. She's 15 years old, and here already, she upset her teammate, Svetlana Boginskaya. So far, she's won the all-around and the unevens.
Lysenko is very impressive on this event. She does a lot of difficulty in her tumbling passes. And she does them with ease in a radiant double front. Very Russian, very dramatic music. The routine is packed full of difficulty. Now watch how she changes direction out of this double back. Punch front and tumbles right back in the other direction. And the Soviets are known for really trying to push the difficulty levels out and ending with harder passes, full twisting double back. Well done.
Tatiana Lysenko from the Soviet Union.
The Soviets have such great technique, and perhaps as importantly, they're so finely conditioned that they can do these big moves at the end of the routine.
Tatiana Lysenko establishes the score to beat, a 9.887. On the podium, America's Brandy Johnson.
And this is really a contrast in styles. Their approach to choreography is very different. Whip back, through to a full twisting double back. Brandy is a very powerful tumbler. She has really had a terrific competition throughout the World Cup. 5th in the all-around, 6th on the uneven bars. Her middle pass is relatively new. A full twisting double back. Oh, no. Under rotates it and has to put her hands down. As you can see, her choice of music, very upbeat, very American. tumbling run is a tuck double back somersault. She already has the one major deduction in the routine. And a nice finish. Oh, it's too bad she had that one break, because this whole competition has really been a positive for Brandy Johnson.
You're right, Kathy. That was unfortunate because every gymnast tries to continue to upgrade their difficulty and their routines. On this full in, she's a little short, and the judges can take as much as a half a point off for that.
And while she waits for her score, a comforting pat from her teammate Sandy Woolsey, who knows that Brandy Johnson's overall performance here at the World Cup has been one of America's best efforts ever. Her score reflects the judges' major deduction. Up next, Svetlana Boginskaya in her best event and a last effort to capture a gold during this World Cup competition. Individual competition. From Romania, this is 15-year-old Mirela Pașca, who's been able to perform at a high level despite conditions in her country which have led to the decline of Romanian gymnastics.
And she opens with a dynamite pass, full twisting double back in pike position. This routine is very true to the Romanian style, quick and energetic. For her middle pass, she does a whip back through to a tuck double back. It's a very nice transition musically. European Championships and actually tied for first on the uneven bars, which was part of a historic moment. They raised the new Romanian flag and the new anthem played. Finishes with a tuck double back, a very steady routine.
The score to beat is a 9.887, which was established by Tatiana Lysenko.
And things are really looking up for the Romanian gymnasts. They had a disastrous performance at the Goodwill Games, but their team is looking much stronger now.
And her score, a 9.887, which moves her into a tie with Tatiana Lysenko for the lead. And now on the floor exercise in her final performance, sensational Henrietta Nodius from Hungary, who's already won the vault and is capable of a great performance here.
And she has really been an exciting gymnast to watch progress over the last few years. She's a terrific tumbler. And this is one of my favorite passes coming up. It's a triple twist, and nobody does it better in the world. Look at that. I really think she has been underrated in the past. A lot of people have been impressed with certain aspects of her gymnastics, and she's certainly come together as a great all-around gymnast. This routine also takes a lot of endurance. That was actually a third pass. She does 4 very difficult tumbling passes. Pike double back, perfect landing. That is a dynamite routine. Lots of difficulty in the tumbling and very crowd-pleasing.
The score to beat is a 9.887.
Her power is so deceiving. Look at the speed in this opening tumbling run. Good rotation. And look at the twist in this triple full. Very quick. Some gymnasts are flippers, some are twisters. She doesn't bowl.
And the judges reward Anodi for her efforts with the highest score so far, a 9.937, which sets the stage for Boginskaya, who knows if she's going to win a gold here, she has to give the performance of her life.
And she cannot compete with the tumbling that we just saw. But in terms of choreography and interpretation of the music, no one puts more emotion and drama in their routine. This is a complete performance. Is so beautiful and extended. Now here's where she has upgraded her difficulty. Full and a half twist through to a double twist punch front. With a tuck double back, good landing. Beautiful. Her performance quality is what makes her able to stay competitive with those youngsters. A dramatic performance, but will it be good enough to beat Anodi's dynamic tumbling? The score to beat a 9.937.
Boginskaya's tumbling is just adequate, but as you mentioned, Kathy, it's her complete presentation where she gets the big scores.
Her score a 9.962, which gives Boginskaya what she wanted, her first gold medal. Now being congratulated by her teammates for victory instead of defeat. So here are the standings in the floor exercise. Boginskaya takes first, Hungary's Henrietta Anodi takes second, and Romania's Mirela Pașca finishes in a tie with Tatiana Lysenko. All the individual event winners here prove something. Anodi won for Hungary's honor. Yang Bo demonstrated China's elegance. Lysenko did what was expected of a young Soviet gymnast. She won. And Boginskaya demonstrated what proud she...
Okay, now, Joan Mazo.
The competition, and obviously gold medalist at the Goodwill Games. She begins with what is called a straddle over. She has great swing, never has a form break. Beautiful